Good morning, YouTube. Happy Thursday. I am just about to get up well, let me first introduce myself. This is High Priestess Jamila, and I'm just about to get up and go and make coffee and I am gonna get some work done for today. I have been a little backed up with clients, and so I've been getting things done for clients one day at a time. And oh, I had a good sleep last night. I got woke up by my phone ringing, and it was my aunt that was calling. And so, she was explaining to me more about what happened with my father, but I don't feel that it's safe to discuss it. In fact, um, I'm not going to really go into any more detail about my father because a YouTube derelict, a vagabond, who is obsessed with funerals. For some reason, I think that this dude should have been a funeral home director or um, maybe a mortician. Maybe he should have gotten into some kind of career that involved funerals because he is obsessed with funerals. Um, Typically, when somebody passes away, a normal person is not just sitting around talking about the deceased person's funeral constantly. In fact, a funeral is not the way to pay your last respects to a person, actually. Um, the funeral is not necessarily that. It's not even really necessary. But, funerals are designed to either put the deceased into the ground or either um, they are designed to, you know, maybe possibly bring the family together. It depends on what's happening in your family. I know that I found out this morning that my father is having a memorial and not a funeral. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm pretty sure this guy that is online who has never had a career, never had an actual career, is going to obsess about my father's funeral probably for at least the next 5 years. You know, it is so important. And that's why I always talk about how horrible this guy's mother must have been. Then the women in his life, it's kind of too late now. He's stuck that way forever. His mother probably didn't have a career either or any kind of creativity. Not that your mother has to have a career. There's nothing wrong with being a stay at home mom who is a homemaker. But I think that with men, unless he is well balanced, right? Because there are some men who stay home with the children. It is. It's rare, but it happens. I don't know if y'all saw that movie Meet the Fockers, but in Meet the Fockers, Greg Focker's father ended up staying home to raise Greg. Yeah, but I think that prior to that, he had a career that he retired from, and they anyway. You have to see Meet the Fockers to understand. But, obviously, the role of Greg Focker's father was a very well balanced, adjusted, positive male. He was well balanced emotionally and intellectually. So, but I think that is not going to be the case for everybody. These men need some kind of career, something they can be proud of. They do. They need something. You don't just allow a man to live in your house without doing nothing. You can't do it, because what ends up happening is he ends up losing his mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have got to have some kind of creative outlet. You do. And you have to bring out the creativity in people so that they can be ready for some kind of career path, whatever that career path is. Now, since this guy likes to talk about funerals all day, I think that he should have gotten into like I said, being a funeral director, or possibly maybe even a mortician or something. But he didn't. He didn't. He was told that it was perfectly fine for him to sit around and do nothing all day. So now this person literally comes on YouTube all day, every day for the past 10 years. That's all this person ever does, is sit around all day talking about people on the internet that have careers, insulting them. Now, I'm guessing they're trying to create jobs. They're trying to create an actual job of being a professional troll. However, being a professional troll does not pay anything. And this guy likes money. He doesn't like to actually earn the money. He doesn't actually know how to get money. Not really. So basically, what I'm saying is that if you do not encourage some kind of career, now typically normal people will find their own direction in life based upon their environment, based upon what they are seeing their parents do. If you see your parents doing something, which growing up personally, I saw my mother uh, working, my father, both of my parents had jobs, and my mother even had her own business, and my father played the guitar. Okay, he was into music outside of his job. So that's all I saw growing up, was my parents doing creative things. They didn't really have to direct me. I just grew up in that environment with people who were constantly doing something. Okay. I believe that the internet came out probably, uh, I was born in the 70s. So I remember sometime in the 80s, I remember America Online or something like that. Was it America Online? And you would hear that dial up connection. So we didn't really have the internet until like probably like the late 80s. But I remember never using the internet to troll or stalk people. I remember uh, seeing the internet grow into what it has. So I'm trying to think of why I brought that up, but you know, the so but nobody was on the like I'm on like I run an internet based business, okay? I don't have a brick and mortar store. So I run a business on the internet. You can visit my website. I have a website address. It's in the video description box. That is usually why I am on here talking about things, speaking about things, even doing readings. That is why. Even when I talk about personal things, sometimes, you want to talk about personal things so you can let people know who you are. You know, it's not necessarily, it just, that's why I did that TMI show at 5 o'clock this morning or at 4 o'clock this morning. It wasn't 5 o'clock. It was about 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Okay. But that's why I'm here, because I'm running a business, right? I am a witch who does spiritual work for people. I have always had a career. To describe me as a derelict is extremely inaccurate. I have always had a job. Always. I can name the places that I have worked. You can find them on my credit report. When you have a job, it gets reported to your credit report. It also gets reported to the Social Security Administration for your retirement. So, my work history prior to starting my company back in 2015 is documented with the Internal Revenue Service, as well as it is documented with the Social Security Administration. So, I don't know how it feels to not have some kind of career or job. I've been to college. I do not hold a college degree. No, I don't. But I have always worked and had jobs. And, uh, you know, as someone that has worked, as someone that runs a spiritual business, I can tell you that I do not have time nor the energy to sit around and babysit a male that has never worked in his life. I do not recommend ever, ever, like at some point, a person has to start thinking about what is it that they like to do? What is it that they're going to do for money? Because otherwise, you're not going to know yourself. You're not going to really know yourself. You cannot take care of a man. As a woman, you have to refuse to take care of a man. He has to do something. Otherwise, a man, number one, he's not going to feel like a man. So he's going to end up miserable and on the internet trolling people. Whoever is allowing that man to live up under their roof while giving them money. Now, there's a lot of people out here with different situations. There are some men that came from actual money and opulence. And those men, they just are rich. They have a lot of money. And they don't sit around the internet bored, stalking and harassing and talking about people and roasting people. They don't. They don't. They've got other things that they're interested in. Okay. But sometimes, especially when a man is not actually happy, especially when a man doesn't actually really have any money, you can't allow a man to live under your roof without working. He has to work for something. He has to do something. He does. Otherwise, you have a male that's bankrupt in the mind. It's different for women, but although I believe that women having a career is very, very healthy, but it's different because men who don't have a career lack direction, and they typically do not feel like a man. They feel low. They don't feel good about themselves. So they cannot handle watching a woman with a career, specifically a woman. For some reason, men who are coddled and taken care of all their lives, okay, they grow up very resentful and bitter because they don't feel man enough. So what they'll end up doing is coming online, spreading lies and rumors about men with careers. I'm not lying to y'all. I just recently had a male that's doing that to me. My father was killed in a accident. I didn't know that my father made fireworks or whatever. And apparently he had fireworks stored in these garages. It was not methamphetamines, but of course, somebody that doesn't really know how to be social. So, but my father was on his way to work. He was on his way to work and an explosion happened. I am a witness to my father waking up every day, getting up and going to work in the morning. Regardless of whatever addiction he had, my father did suffer from an addiction 20 years ago. 30 years ago. He did, but he still got up and went to work every morning. That's all I remember as a child. I remember getting up, getting ready for school or whatever I had to do, and I remember hearing his car, especially in the wintertime. He would warm up his car outside and he would drive off to go to work. Okay, when I was 11, he worked for Payless Cashways. And my father worked a corporate job until he decided to start working on cars full time. Okay. But when you have a man online that has never done anything with his life, he doesn't understand that. Okay. He doesn't. If you allow a man to sit in your house and drink all day, this is the result of it. And you're responsible for that man. You are, especially if, okay, it would be different if it were a man that was not harassing and stalking people all day, every day on the internet, working people, people that are working, harassing and stalking and slandering people, right? Then you would have nothing to be responsible for. But when you literally put a man in a position where he does not feel adequate, he doesn't, not actually, because a man that feels good about himself is not doing things like that. He's not. He has to be encouraged to have some kind of career or creative outlet, one or the other or both. Now, a lot of people these days are making their creativity into their career. A lot of people are doing that, okay, which I think is pretty amazing. But some people have their job and then they have something that they do as like a hobby, are just for their creativity. Okay. But some people have it together. You know what I'm saying? Some people have their job, and then some people have their creativity that they may even make money at. Okay. But a man that sits around and does absolutely nothing all day, what are you actually doing to him? What have you done to his mind? You can't let him sit in his room all day either. You have to talk to him. You have to stimulate him. Even, I'm raising sons. My son will be 24 years old. I talk to him about his career all the time. He's already started his career. Well, I'm not going to talk about it because it's nobody's business because he's not on YouTube, right? But my son does do music, but he also works for my company. Okay. He works for my company. He does things around the house. He does things all day. He's constantly active all day. And then also, he's not on the internet harassing people. So I think people can do whatever they want to do with their life. Whatever it is that if you want to do nothing with your life, that's fine. If you want to have somebody sitting up in your house just doing nothing all day, every day, that's fine too. But they should not be online harassing people. And at that point, when you start to come online every day long term, as a man for a year or longer and you are harassing people all day long, that means that you are not fulfilled in life and that you need to do something else. That means that you're suffering from boredom and apathy. And it's time for you to do something. That also means that you're miserable. That means that you do not feel like a man. You don't feel like a human. You're not doing anything. This is what human beings do. They do. Humans have evolved. Okay, there used to be a time where human beings would live in huts. Okay, they would live in huts. They would hunt in the woods, in caves. That's how we used to live. But humans evolved, right? So that's why we have houses, cars. Okay, if you look at the world has changed a whole lot because the human minds have evolved, right? Everybody wants a career, even if they don't want to admit to it. Okay, even if they don't want to admit to it, everybody wants to have something to do with their time and get paid for it. Everybody, right? So you can't just sit around all day. You have to get up and do something. Don't do anything wrong. Don't get up and do something wrong. Get up and do something healthy. Get up and do something positive. Because when you send that energy out to the universe, that's what you get back. You get back something positive. If you are somebody that literally has nothing else better to do, right? You were not raised that way. I know that I was constantly nobody ever gave me anything. At the age of 16 years old, I realized that I had to work. And I've been working from the age of 16 years old. I have. You cannot ever be the type of person. It's not going to happen. Okay, even people that came from money, even people that have money, they go to college, they either have a career or they start a business. They do. It is not good. The having an idle mind is not good. You have to find something to do, something to think about. You cannot ever do that. I think that that's the whole principle behind school. However, when it comes to school, I think that it does create more of an institutionalized mind. It depends on what school you're going to. But I think that that was the whole thought process behind school. Okay. As a homeschooling mom, I am constantly giving things for my son to do. And he actually directs himself. He actually directs himself. He's a good kid. I know he has a bright future ahead of him. He's not doing negative things all day. He comes to me all day and talks to me about things that he knows, things that he's learned, things that he's witnessed, the things that he is interested in. And it's nothing negative. Nothing. Somebody sitting around all day long thinking of negative things to do. What is that good for you? Is that good for anybody? No, it's not. But especially when it comes to a grown man in his 40s is depressed. You sit up here and you let a man sit around all day and he never has a job. He is going to end up depressed and feeling worthless. It is not good for a man to be, you can't take care of a man. Some of them you can't. If you see that listen, you can't do it because he's going to end up miserable and in specifically stalking people with jobs and careers and businesses. If a man was raised to not do anything, to just sit around and do nothing all day, and you just kind of sit around and let him do that, and then he becomes an older male that literally harasses and attacks people that are working jobs, that means that he feels some type of way. He feels angry. He's angry. He's upset and jealous because he doesn't know what to do with himself. But the brain has become trained and programmed to do nothing except for sit around and be miserable all day long, thinking about funerals and women online who actually have careers. Literally, my stalker literally became obsessed with me right as he knew that I started my business, Divine Services. He became obsessed. I'm trying to figure out if somebody forbidded this man from having his own career. The reason why he hates all day on me, has been hating all day, projecting. This man has never worked in his life, has an idle mind, idle hands, doesn't do anything all day long. I can promise you that the reason why this person stalks me all day on the internet is because he's bitter and jealous. I can promise you. And it don't have nothing to do with a man or another man. No. It has always had something to do and is centered and focused around my career. You got a miserable person every single day. Miserable because they don't have any kind of creative outlet. And as a woman, while you're in a relationship with these men, while they in their 20s, because I didn't know this person in his 20s. If I knew this person in his 20s, I would be telling them the same thing. You need to find a career. You need to figure out who you are and go find a career. You don't just let a man sit around all day. and not think about nothing. You can't do it as a woman. As a woman, sometimes you have to direct a man. As a mother, you have to do that too. That's not just a man's job. It's called being an inspiration. And then sometimes, if you don't have a man present or available, you have to be the voice. You have to say, hey, listen, you're going to be regretful. You're going to be a person that's sitting around miserable the rest of your life because you don't have some kind of career or hobby or interest. Think about what a man is going to go through. My stalker, his son, sits in his room all day and watches TV. That's it. Just sits and watches TV. He's not being directed to do hardly anything. Doesn't even do chores. Chores are good for children. Just sit around all day doing nothing. You can't allow that in your household as a woman. Otherwise, what you're going to have is you're going to have men and unhappy males who don't feel like a man, especially a man as a, a lot of these women, they want to be the breadwinner, right? But, I feel that if a woman is going to earn money, that's fine. But the man has got to be doing something. You can't never have no situation to where the man is not contributing something. Even if he comes into the relationship with a little bit of money, is I would still be concerned. I would still be concerned about his hobbies, about his activities. You have to have some standard, right? You don't just let a man lay up in your house and play video games all day. You have to go and say, "Hey, what are you doing?" And hey, can we get we need to do this, we need to do that, and you need to talk to them, especially on Thursday. Every Thursday, every Wednesday and Thursday, you need to be having a conversation. And they're not going to really get that from school. That needs to happen at home. Every Thursday, you should have a discussion with the people that live under your roof about their career plans and what they plan to do with their life. You need to have a discussion. You need to sit down and you need to talk to them and you need to devise some kind of plan. Now, I know I'm getting ready to relocate back to my hometown. And so right now, my household is all about that. I think that um, my time in Georgia has came to an end in the moment. I think that it's time for me to go back home. Okay, let's just put it like that. But and then more concrete plans can be made. It can be made from there. Yeah. Right. Right. Exactly. You cannot allow, like whether or not you have sons or your baby daddy. You can't let your baby daddy sit around your house for 20 years and not do nothing and expect good things to happen for you. I didn't realize that Super Queen B was here. Hello, good morning. And hello, good morning, Kinsley's mommy. And Tech for You, Sis is here. Triple Darkness, hello, good morning. And Adam. Yeah, you just can't let them do that. And hopefully they're being encouraged to do something positive and, not out there selling drugs or whatever or robbing people. You can't, you have to figure out what that person is good at and try to find some kind of creative outlet for them instead of them just sitting around. Now I know that my stalker has a history of armed robbery. Maybe perhaps he was raised to be a robber. I'm wondering if his mother raised him to do that, to be a criminal. These are things that make you go, because all I know is that he has a record of that, because we found out his record, the stalker. Okay. And so far, all I've seen him do is sit around and stalk people and troll people. I haven't seen him do anything else. So, clearly somebody made some huge mistakes in raising him. I'm just going to tell you, as a woman, I don't want to touch a man with a 10-foot pole, a 10-foot condom, a 10-foot nothing if you don't have some kind of career. Because right off the bat, I'm going to know where your mind is at. You ain't going to do nothing but produce a bunch of negativity because you don't have no direction in life. Okay? You got to have some kind of direction in life. If you're not going to have direction in life, if you're literally going to sit around your family and be taken care of, be happy about it. Be happy, be humble. If that's what you're going to do, if you're literally going to sit around and do nothing, don't come online and harass people that you see are trying to do something or not trying to do something, doing something. And I'm talking about doing something positive. Okay, you just can't do that. As a woman, I've never agreed with that. I have never agreed with that, to let a man sit around like that, because he ends up miserable with nothing else better to do. He ends up very bitter. He doesn't feel good about himself. That's the reality of it. Okay. And with that being said, I'm going to go and get my coffee for the morning. Okay. Thank you. Hey, Elegant Roses. Hello. Blessings to you guys. Yeah, I have a lot of work to do today. I have a lot of work that I need to get done today. So I'm going to get up and get that done, and stay focused on that. Okay. And then I have readings scheduled for today, too. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, is all I got to say. Oh, yeah. And I got Folger's house blend. So I got that house blend. I actually quite enjoyed the taste of house blend. So I'm gonna go down here and get me some coffee. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one. Today is Thursday. Today, people should be thinking about their career or hobbies. Because, this would be the perfect day to do that since today's Thursday. Okay. All right, guys. Y'all have a good one. Blessings. Bye bye.